About the New South Wales defamation laws, though, in your home state, which is, as I mentioned before, that the New South Wales government has committed to a review of defamation laws after a top defamation judge called for an urgent and comprehensive overhaul to reflect the rise of social media cases and that are also the challenges that are posed by online publications. Judge Judith Gibson said that 2/3 of the cases now involving the internet and existing defamation laws were out of sync, that via the Fairfax Press. Are you concerned about any changes to defamation law in New South Wales?
Well, it depends what the changes are. There is an issue with defamation in that it is a constraint on free speech. On the other hand, it is protecting reputations, which I think warrant protection. So the question is, where should the line be drawn? In the United States, you have to prove malice in order to succeed in a defamation case. That's not a bad test because it expands the free speech envelope quite considerably. But, you know, should there be a distinction between social media and what you can say, for example, which you referred to in your opening remarks? The answer is no. If someone calls you a crook, a thief, a hypocrite or something like that, in a newspaper, you've got a fairly ready cause of action with not many defences. If somebody does that on Twitter or Facebook, it's a bigger hill to climb, and I don't think that, you know, that's a legitimate thing. There is a question though about how many of those names they should be able to call you without being hauled before a court.
Well, yeah, I mean, my thing about you, Bronwyn, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, look, basically social media has given a licence to defame. That's the first point. But secondly, you have to make a distinction between vulgar abuse and defamation. They're not the same thing. But thirdly, and let me say, I heard that Richo worked up some courage to mention my name the other night on your show.
He did.
And this is the same Richo who had to resign for ministerial impropriety, the same Richo who failed to disclose borrowing Rennie Rivkin's apartment and Rolls-Royce in London and got tied up in the $52 million fire insurance claim for the offset Alpine printing company. And the same Richo who now advises Tony Abbott. But I have to give him a point. At least he almost had something to say and didn't have to go off and talk as others do, only about helicopters. So let me say, in the world of defamation, it is an area where it is changing over time. It is an area where more and more people think, oh, well, I want to take action here, but it is an area where some sort of reform is needed so that we see there is some form of legitimate ability to take sensible action that doesn't cost you $100,000 walk-up start.
No, I agree, and also the penalties as well can't be so. You know, if it's low level, where literally somebody with 100 followers said something on Twitter versus somebody saying something in front of the largest possible audience of potentially many millions, given some TV shows, that should also be part of the calculation. My thing is just that anyone who's part of Facebook groups, particularly a lot of those groups that are around you know, young mums or family groups, and some of the most despicable stuff can be said about local you know, medical practitioners or mechanics saying, you know, don't go here, don't go there, and that's literally something that can destroy a business. So we'll wait and see what happens with that in the next little while.
Someone said the other day, made a comment that an analysis of it showed that the people who come off worst are female politicians.
Well, there you go, exactly. Well, as we say about the internet, quite often it's the toilet door, but it's gone global about some of the things that people write there. Anyway, Paul was here, I think, is the best contribution I can make at this stage. Quick break, back with more, plenty to fire up about on Paul Murray Live.